Hello everyone, welcome to Asura Psych, and today I've got for you 3 quick tips to be a healthier and better adjusted INFJ. Now, supposedly INFJs are the rarest personality type in the world, and the statistics tend to agree with that. But in my opinion, the INFJ, just like every other personality type, has areas in their personal development journey that they could really focus on if they want to be better adjusted people. And that's what I want to talk about today. Let's get into it. So my first piece of advice for INFJs is to not allow yourself to be a doormat. And this is something that can be said for all of the types that have extroverted feeling in their top 2 functions in their function stack. So ENFJs, ISFJs, those types as well. But types that have high extroverted feeling tend to value the emotions and feelings of the others around them that are important to them more so than themselves sometimes. And this can allow the person with extroverted feeling in their top 2 functions to make decisions that are going to ignore their own personal needs sometimes. So to be a healthier and better adjusted INFJ, you need to be able to balance this out with your own personal needs. What do you as an individual need compared to what those around you need and how they're feeling emotionally? Because as an extroverted feeling type, your emotions matter too, but you tend to notice the emotions of others around you first. It's important to be able to balance these 2 things out if you want to be well adjusted, because if you can't take care of yourself, then you can't take care of others, and that's really important. My favorite example of extroverted feeling comes from Myers-Briggs' Gifts Differing book, in which she's talking about an ENFJ friend that she had. So this friend says to her, "I was speaking to one of my friends about personality type, and they asked me what I thought about personality type. I didn't know how to respond to them because I didn't know how they felt about it." And to me, this exemplifies what extroverted feeling is, because extroverted feeling very much cares about the opinions and values of those that they care about. And this is important for the INFJ and the ENFJ types to remember that sometimes you have to make your own decisions. Sometimes you have to value your own values, because if you're only valuing what other people value and never placing value in what's important to you, then you're not going to be making significant changes in your life. You're not going to be able to push for the things that you want out of life, and instead, you're just going to be a doormat for other people's needs. My second tip for INFJs is on the other end of this spectrum. And this is to remember that sometimes as an INFJ, your introverted intuition vision is going to outweigh your extroverted feeling desires and needs. Because as an introverted intuitive dominant, your inner vision is the most important thing to you. It's extremely important for you to follow your goals and dreams. And as Carl Jung said, the auxiliary function, extroverted feeling for the INFJ, is simply a tool for them to achieve what they want out of their dominant function. It is something that exists to serve the dominant function. So INFJs tend to be people-focused, but their inner visions are really what drive them. And it's important to remember that you don't need to feel bad when you're chasing something that's important to you or your introverted intuition. Now, more often than not, INFJs are going to have inner visions that relate to other people because extroverted feeling tends to point them in that direction. But that said, it's very important for INFJs to realize that just because you're a secondary extroverted feeling type, that doesn't mean you have to be people-focused. This doesn't inherently make you want to do things related to people. Not every INFJ is going to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a therapist or some world leader. Some INFJs are going to have very personal dreams and visions that they want to follow, and extroverted feeling is simply going to be a secondary thing for them. They're not going to be overly concerned with the values and emotions of others like you might see in the ENFJ or the ESFJ. So my third piece of advice for INFJs is also one of the pieces of advice that I gave in my INTJ video as well. And that's to be aware of how repressed extroverted sensing is affecting you and the bad habits that can come from that. So for example, I as an INTJ struggled with overeating for a large majority of my life. I used to weigh 300 pounds and I lost 130 pounds when I really began to deep dive into growth and Myers-Briggs repressed functions. When I took control of my repressed extroverted sensing, when I began to notice how I was just overeating to fill time and I was ignoring my bodily cues, then my life really began to turn around. Everything in my life began to come into focus when I took control of the most negative aspect of my life. So in my opinion, if you're an INFJ, becoming aware of how repressed extroverted sensing is affecting you, and this could be in any different way. It could be overeating, it could be substance abuse. There's 100 different ways in which you could develop a bad habit through repressed extroverted sensing. But being aware of how it's affecting you and becoming consciously aware of this and taking control of it can have a huge impact on your life. All right, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed those 3 quick tips to be a healthier INFJ. And if you're an INFJ watching this video, I hope you take these tips to heart and really think about how these things could change your life if you were to really focus on them. Because in my opinion, the best part about personality typology is understanding your weak areas and how you can better grow as a person. So I hope these tips were valuable to you if you're an INFJ. I would like to remind everybody that I have personality typing sessions available at my website, asurapsych.com, if you're interested in working with me to find out your personality type and what that means for you. This has been Asura at Asura Psych. Have a good one.